Hey everyone, Nick here again, back to talk about The Walking Dead, and right now I've got my review of episode 6 of season 8, The King, the Widow, and Rick. And honestly, for this episode, the first word that comes to mind is inconsistent. Because it had some good moments, some not so good, and just like, I've overall enjoyed this season so far, but the few minor problems I've had in the first 5 episodes, those problems grew in this one. I'll just get right into it. The title is The King, the Widow, and Rick, so I'll start with them first. The King. Honestly, all the scenes at the Kingdom with Ezekiel and Carol, highlight of the episode for sure. I mean, Kari Payton is just consistently great as Ezekiel, but I mean, he actually was only in this episode for one scene, which lasted probably 3 minutes, but he was just amazing. And Melissa McBride had her best acting performance in a long time. I mean, she's always good, but like the Emmy-worthy attention that she's gotten in the past was on full display here tonight. And I really like the scenes that Carol and Ezekiel have with each other. And to be honest, I kind of thought that it might have been... I thought they were going to kiss, to be perfectly honest. But not quite there yet, but I think it could happen. And I approve. The next part of the title is The Widow. And the scenes with Maggie at the hilltop were really entertaining. And we got to see Maggie be a bit of a savage, which I really enjoyed. Just the way she told Gregory off and just threw Gregory in the makeshift jail cell with the Saviors was really awesome to see, and I was really proud of Maggie for it. But my one problem with these scenes is that Jared, the long-haired savior who killed Benjamin last season, he's still just doing stuff that should have gotten him killed by now, and for some reason he's still drawing air. And it's honestly getting unreal at this point. He should be dead 3 times over by now, and honestly, they need to kill him soon, because it's just very questionable on their part that they haven't killed this guy that is clearly a threat, that's going to clearly keep doing things. Even after he got knocked out, he was still trying to cut through his ropes that were tying him up. It's just like, why is this guy not dead yet? It's really unrealistic that this guy wouldn't be dead by now. And then finally, the third part of the title, Rick. I'm just gonna say it. It was frustrating. He went back to the trash people, or as I have now dubbed them, the Smellies. He went back to see the Smellies, and Queen Smelly naturally threw him in a shipping container. I don't know what Rick was thinking. I don't even know why he wants their help. She shot him. He's like, "You graze me." She still shot you, and pushed you off a watchtower, and threw you off a trash mountain the first time you met her. So, you probably should be done with her by now. And to be perfectly honest, Jadis and her people, really, they're just too out there. They're too weird. They're nonsensical. They're not believable. And to be perfectly honest, whenever they're on screen with their stupid broken English, the show just grinds to a halt. And I have wanted them dead for a while, particularly her. But it's got to happen sooner rather than later. And I hope that Rick is done begging for their help. There were other people that got some focus in this episode. We got to check in on Carl again, which was nice because we haven't seen him since the premiere. And he got to have some more scenes with the guy he met before, who has now been confirmed to be Sadiq, who's a character from the comics. And it seems like they're going to be doing more with him than in the comics, because honestly in the comics he just kind of shows up. Like, he's just been at the hilltop, I think it was. I'm pretty sure that he just kind of showed up there. But like, he'd been there the whole time, they just hadn't talked to him yet. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. I'm a little rusty. I read All Out War a long time ago. I read it as it was actually being published. So yeah, it seems like Sadiq is getting a little bit more to do on the show. And the scenes that they had together were not bad, but they didn't really seem totally irrelevant. Like, as I'm watching, I'm just kind of thinking, there's more interesting stuff going on elsewhere. And, you know, I don't mean that as a knock against the characters, because I love Carl, and honestly, I think Sadiq has proven himself to be at least relatively trustworthy. We also got to check in on Michonne and Rosita, and their little road trip, honestly, was a lot of fun to watch. Like Carl, we haven't seen them since the premiere, but they literally just had cameos in the premiere. Carl at least had a couple scenes of stuff to do in the premiere. Michonne and Rosita, they just kind of appeared on screen for 10 seconds each, and then that was that. So seeing them back in action was pretty fun to watch. I've seen a lot of people, like in other reaction videos, that are annoyed at them, at how they handled the two saviors that they came across. Like, they should have been dealt with better than that. That was my first thought, but then I remembered that they're both coming off injuries. I mean, Rosita just got shot, and Michonne in particular, she just came off quite a beating. She might still be suffering from a concussion. So, Michonne in particular, I think we can give her a pass on maybe being a little rusty. And, of course, when Rosita blew the guy up with the RPG, that was pretty awesome. And also, Daryl and Tara teamed up to just do whatever they want. To just go and kill Dwight and apparently just end this war right away. Even though there's still ways that Dwight can help them, and they're being a little impulsive. That's the whole thing. That's been my biggest problem with this season. Too many people are just being too impulsive. And this is war. You gotta strategize. Which Rick has done. Rick has a plan. And Daryl is just doing whatever he wants. Tara is going along with him now. Michonne and Rosita eventually teamed up with them as well. Rosita, I'm sure, would be up for the same kind of revenge mission that Daryl and Tara are. I think Michonne might be a little hesitant to just go all vigilante. Overall, I'd probably give this episode a 7 out of 10. It's definitely, in my opinion, the weakest episode of Season 8 so far. But it wasn't terrible. It had some good moments, particularly with Ezekiel and Maggie. And of course, Michonne and Rosita, their little road trip was awesome. But again, just a lot of frustrating things going on, and Jadis and the Smellies, they just gotta go away. They're the single dumbest thing this show has ever done. Jadis, honestly, would probably be up there as one of my least favorite Walking Dead characters ever. Because I just don't think she's a good character, period. I don't like Gregory, and every bad thing that happens to him, I get a kick out of seeing. But Gregory at least seems like a real person. I mean, we've all seen guys like Gregory before, you know, like local politicians type things, even national politicians. He's just got that vibe about him, that fake, stuck-up elitist vibe. He's a very believable character. I hate him, and again, I like seeing whatever misery comes his way, but he's real. He's realistic. Jadis and her people, the fact that they speak in broken English, which might be believable 20 years into the apocalypse, but it's like maybe 2 years in at this point. Of course, they just sit around naked, sculpting whatever they want out of their trash pile. Just, I don't know what they are. I don't know what they are. They don't make any sense. But yeah, overall the episode, despite my ever-growing dislike of the Smellies, was still entertaining. So that'll do it for my review, and I'll see you next time.